Subscribe to the all-new HardLore Patreon now for early, ad-free access to every episode and an exclusive episode every month.
No, this next one is going to break your brain in half.
This is easy.
We're going to argue. There's no way Deicide is heavier than Type O.
Are you serious?
Heavier
what
than
are you saying?
World coming down?
Yes. You're too emotional here, dude.
No.
This is science and facts and logic. We are here to make history today. Hello, welcome to the official HardLore Stories from Tor bracket tournament to determine the heaviest band of all time.
Let's get into that right away. What are we considering heaviest band of? Like, what determines heavy versus what's the other big word?
So heavy versus hard is a big topic here. You're gonna hear a lot. Hard and heavy are very two different things. How are they different, you ask? Mm-hmm. You tell me. You'll have to listen. You know it when you hear it, is how I describe it.
We were talking about it a little bit before we started recording, but there are matchups on this where there are bands that have to be in both discussions, and you'll know it when we say them.
Yes, and that'll be the determination which eliminates some of them. This will be like, no, they're harder than they are heavy, so they're eliminated.
Yeah.
You know?
Is it a mutually exclusive term? Like, are all heavy bands hard and all?
No. You can be both.
You can,
but you're gonna be one more than the other, especially when paired up.
There's one band on here that I think is equal, and we'll get to it. And I'm excited.
I can't wait to talk about it.
I'm excited to get to it.
The bands that we have selected, and the matchups are random. They were randomized by our graphic designer, Carrie. So if there's a cruel matchup,
which there are,
blame Carrie. Carrie, you're cruel for this one. The bands that we have selected, these were hand selected by HardLore. So that part we are responsible for.
Yes, of course.
The contenders for the heaviest band of all time are Crowbar, All Out War, Neurosis, Metallica, Meshuggah, Black Sabbath, Suffocation, Cannibal Corpse, Conan, Dying Fetus, Disembodied, Celtic Frost, Decapitated, Demillich, Warning, Triptykon, Godflesh, Hatebreed, Candlemass, Morbid Angel, Xibalba, Pantera, Sepultura, Down, Converge, Deicide, Type O Negative, Sleep, Bolt Thrower, Napalm Death, Slayer, and Obituary.
Holy shit. And so it's every band that you like.
It's every band I like, and these are the heaviest bands of all time.
Yeah, I'm also talking to the listener. It's like, hey, your favorite bands of all time we're talking about right now. If you like heavy music, if someone came up to you on the stream and was like, hey, name a couple of heavy bands, you're going to say
Crowbar, All Out War, Neurosis, Metallica, Meshuggah.
Yeah.
This is the greatest playlist of all time for me.
Oh,
already.
Easily. And there's a couple on here I've never heard in my life that you're going to talk to me about. And I'm sure other people are going to say the same thing.
I love it.
Hope. Should we do like top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right?
No, I think we'll do left side.
Left
get that
side,
done.
Get it done.
Left first round.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We'll just get down to this. You see this bracket below you if you're watching. Mm-hmm. If you're listening, I'm so sorry for what you're going to go through. Just imagine what you're seeing. It's incredible.
So this first matchup is perfect, is what we were talking about.
Yes. This is it. The first matchup is Crowbar versus All Out War. All Out War, really one of 2 or 3 hardcore bands on this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I think in the scope of hardcore, this is probably the heaviest band.
Yes.
But sadly, they're up against the Wayne Gretzky of this shit. They're up against Crowbar.
They're up against the heaviest band. Like the band that if you ask me to name a heavy band, that's the first one that comes to mind.
You know, this is a tough matchup for All Out War, but I think we've got to go Crowbar.
I would agree. And this is a good example, like I said, of Crowbar have pretty heavy songs.
There is. You have to factor in emotional weight,
dude. 100%.
To which Crowbar has physical weight, like you wouldn't believe, emotional weight, like you wouldn't believe,
tone weight,
and tonal weight, like you wouldn't believe, and just riff weight. And All Out War, you're gonna hear about the downfall of man in ways that you've never heard about it. But in terms of sheer heft, we got to go Crowbar first round. All Out War, truly, this nomination is enough.
Yes.
You're one of 3 hardcore bands on here. Thank you for your contributions to music. Crowbar wins.
When we do hardest bands, they're on there. So
they'll be back.
They'll they're one of the few that are like, they're both, no problem.
Yeah.
All right, so Crowbar.
This next matchup, Bo.
Yeah.
Neurosis versus Metallica.
Now, you know me, okay?
I do.
And listen.
But, dude,
Hey, in the words of James Hetfield, brother, don't tread on me right now, okay? Because Neurosis is heavy. Metallica, as we said when we were deciding the list, determined what heavy was for a decade, for better or for worse.
But here's the thing: if that's the criteria here, who's beating Black Sabbath?
Which is why that's going to be a really tough matchup. And here's the discussion. I'll tell you one thing: it's not going to be Neurosis. Neurosis ain't beating Black Sabbath. Neurosis ain't beating Crowbar.
No. But here's the thing. I think the Doorway riff alone is heavier than any Metallica part.
Which is fine. And I will concede that Metallica is not the heaviest band on this list.
I will concede that Metallica will lose.
Yes.
But you won't concede them losing to Neurosis. You won't accept that.
There's no way that The Thing That Should Not Be and Sad But True and Wherever I May Roam, those...
That you immediately come out of the gate with, Sad But True is way heavier than Neurosis is what makes this show work.
Yes, of course.
That's what sets us apart. Is that I want to tell you you're out of your damn mind.
Yeah, I'm sure your brother is like shaking his head right now.
I'm shaking my head.
Yeah. But no, I truly think that, because look, if you're going to go the route of like, well, yeah, but that's just because of time and place. Well, then Black Sabbath pales in actual heaviness to some of these bands because you have to put yourself in the 60s.
To all of them.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like the riffs are crazy, and if you played it through modern high gain amps and like blah, blah, blah. But at the time when you realize what they're working with and how they are the first ones to kind of do this or that, then you go, oh, okay, yeah, that changes the discussion.
But even by that criteria, Metallica still beats a lot of these bands. So
a lot of.
But I could argue they're harder than they are heavy.
Here's the other thing, and I know you don't like when I go this route, but they are the #1 most selling heavy metal band of all time, and they're called a heavy metal band.
This is the heaviest one, though. This is not. We're not. This is
I know.
HardLore.
I'm not
heaviest.
I'm not saying that, Colin. What I'm saying is,
I know.
Neurosis ain't called the heaviest band of all time. You know what I'm saying?
I would call them the heavier band than Metallica easily, but I'm gonna go with. I think you're gonna be conceding to me a lot in the future here.
I think so too. Look, the next round for Metallica is looking grim. I'm just being honest. Okay, I'm not.
We'll give it to Metallica.
Thank you.
We'll give it to Metallica. I think, Neurosis has much. Even Metallica's ballads are heavy.
Absolutely.
Whereas, Neurosis's ballads will fuck you up.
But that's actually a better point than any other thing we've said so far. But really think about 1984 and For Whom the Bell Tolls and like that riff.
I understand factoring in influence here, but there has to be a line.
Okay.
And I think we're about to get to that line. Meshuggah versus Black Sabbath is the third. This is fucked. Is the third matchup. Listen, this doesn't happen without Black Sabbath. This podcast, this conversation, this bracket, these bands don't happen without Black Sabbath.
The computer-like time signatures that Meshuggah uses doesn't start
happen
with Tony Iommi's
without
You know he's missing his part of his fingers, and that attributes to why he played what he did.
Really?
He plays with a prosthetic on his picking hand, so he plays left-handed. He worked at a metal pressing factory.
Right, and that's, yes.
And he pressed off part of his fingers, and he plays with prosthetics on his
Well, is that why they
hand.
tuned down? Were they the first band to tune down for the first time?
I think he just thought it sounded good, but it had to do with...
I thought there was a technical reason behind that, like the string...
the string gauge?
Tension was too high.
That would make sense to me. But like, think about what we're talking about right now, and then what most of the bands on this list do is they detune their guitars.
Because of Black Sabbath.
Because someone did it and went, oh, shit.
Dude, and that's why I'm giving you shit about influence, but it feels like a crime to put some bands over Black Sabbath. But
we have to be...
Meshuggah's pretty fucking heavy.
Meshuggah's heavy, but one could say pretty hard too. Because, again, think about Black Sabbath had ballads. They had pretty songs.
Yeah. Track for track, Meshuggah's probably a heavier band, though. You know?
Probably.
And I do think Black Sabbath defined this whole shit.
Yeah.
You have to give them that. We're going technical, though. We're going scientific here.
You're going to say Meshuggah over Black Sabbath?
I don't want to.
Saba's blow it.
I don't want to do it, but I'm going science here. And either way, Meshuggah's losing the next round. Whoever is in the next round is losing the next round from this bracket. Let's be real here.
I think that... Oh, fuck. This sucks. This is hard.
This is the best episode ever. I was like, dude, this is going to be under an hour.
Yeah.
This is not going to be under an hour.
So you're going to say Meshuggah. Because I really stuck to my guns with Metallica, so I'm not going to fight you tooth and nail.
No, I don't. And that feels like sacrilege to me.
I think it's Black Sabbath. You can't eliminate Black Sabbath in the first round. I can't do it.
No. It's Black Sabbath.
It has to be.
It's Black Sabbath. Yeah. And that's title track. Name of your band, first album.
Come on.
And then very few heavy things heavier have been written since. It's Black Sabbath 100%.
Okay.
I was seeing red. I'm hungry. I haven't. It's been a rough day. It's Black Sabbath. I don't know what I was thinking. I was out of my gourd. Next matchup. Holy shit.
Now, this is interesting because I know my answer right away. I don't know your answer right away.
Okay, so it's Suffocation versus Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, I'm going to say Suffocation is harder. And Suffocation is heavy, but they're fucking hard. Too. But so is Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that Cannibal Corpse is like 20% or 30% less technical.
Yes, which I
think lends to them being heavier.
Okay, I fully agree with that.
Okay, I think Suffocation wrote several of the greatest breakdowns ever written. I would call them all harder than I would heavier.
Fully agree.
Cannibal Corpse front to back discography has not ceased or altered or changed heaviness in 1 ounce.
Even technical, like everything is like
100%. They're more technical now.
Yeah,
but the output is somehow harder and heavier.
Yeah,
and I think that we need to give them some flowers right now. Cannibal Corpse is like that band in terms of discography consistency, maybe more so than anybody on this list.
They're the terror of death metal.
100%.
Yeah.
If Bolt Thrower put out another record that was better than Those Once Loyal, they would be the answer. But they haven't. They wrote one and it wasn't as good, so they broke up. You know?
Yeah.
Which is badass.
It's fucking sick.
The fourth matchup goes to Cannibal Corpse.
I love it.
Conan versus Dying Fetus. Listen.
I don't know Conan at all.
Incredible band, but you're up against Dying Fetus.
Yeah. You're up against dudes writing purposeful spin kick.
100%.
Break.
This is a band who, Crowbar, I genuinely think their goal is, hey, let's be the heaviest band. Dying Fetus, I think their goal is let's be the hardest death metal band ever.
Yeah.
And by doing that, they've written some of the heaviest music ever. Conan, incredibly heavy band. I recommend you go deep dive their entire discography, Bo and all listeners, but Dying Fetus takes this matchup.
Okay, good.
So far, we have Crowbar versus Metallica in the next round. We've got Black Sabbath versus Cannibal Corpse in the next round. And we have Dying Fetus against the winner of this bracket, which will either be Disembodied or Celtic Frost. Let's be serious here.
It's Celtic Frost.
It's Celtic Frost. Much great respect to Disembodied. Again, they're one of 4 hardcore bands on this list.
Yeah.
They have written some of the heaviest breakdowns of all time. I didn't say hardest.
Oh, interesting.
They skew heavier than they skew hard. 7 Stitches, heavy as shit. And what they've influenced.
Yeah, there you go.
They've done a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They are Amazon-esque in their job creation in the metalcore department. But Celtic Frost is like Mount Rushmore of this shit.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
When it comes to, dude, and honestly, like, I know you celebrate the full catalog. I'm a heavy monotheist guy, which is the heaviest in my opinion. Like that's when they really, where it's like, oh, here's like the heaviest riffs we're gonna do with slow palm mutes and heavy.
But here's the thing: a lot of heavy music doesn't exist without Celtic Frost. Mm-hmm. A lot of hardcore doesn't exist without Celtic Frost. New York hardcore is not the same without Celtic Frost.
Whoa,
straight up, and that's from the horse's mouth. The horses have spoken this. They said, Celtic Frost. Celtic Frost is the winner.
You put on, if anybody's listening right now and you don't know what we're talking about, you put on the first song on Monotheist. You put on Progeny.
Bow, now, now, gow, 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 gun, 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 gun.
Oh,
gun,
dude.
Gun, gun.
From you.
Man, that's an artist who only got heavier as he.
Yeah.
And these guys start out extreme. Starting Hellhammer, pioneering this genre.
Yeah.
And then getting more extreme as you go is crazy when everybody else's thing is to kind of go more melodic over time.
Right. And
he said no.
No. And then with his last project is like even
coming
more.
Up.
It's coming up.
It's coming up.
All right.
All right. Next round, this is crazy. Decapitated versus Demilich.
So
I'm going to go, listen. Mm-hmm. Decapitated is harder than they are heavy to me.
Yeah, I think I agree. Because they're also way more technical.
Demillich might as well be 7,000 pounds of musical heaviness.
I don't know a thing about Demillich.
The singer is just burping.
Oh, okay.
He is just burping over the heaviest shit you've ever heard. Tuned low as fuck. Single string pit riff after pit riff after pit riff. They're unbelievable. Demillich, to me, easily clears Decapitated here. And I think a large part of that is the matchup. I think Decapitated could have gone far in this bracket.
Yeah.
Demillich is historically, categorically heavy.
Okay. I got to check him out. Man.
This is an interesting matchup here.
Yeah, this is your yin and yang.
This is my yin and yang. So the last matchup in the first round for the left bracket is Warning versus Triptykon. Warning, half the reason they're in here is the emotional heft provided by the music.
Yes.
Because man, is that there is, if that is the criteria, like the most powerfully emotional heavy music ever, nobody's coming close to Warning.
Yeah, looking at this,
nobody
song
is coming anywhere fucking near.
Yeah, it's like
even Type O,
Crowbar
bows at the feet of emotionally of Warning.
Yeah,
but you're up against Triptykon, and this is the heaviest band of all time bracket. Triptykon. Listen, Hellhammer starts. Celtic Frost immediately smokes every song they ever wrote.
Yep.
Triptykon starts. I'm not going to say they smoked Celtic Frost's discography, but clearly the goal was, hey, I'm going to make a heavier band than Celtic Frost.
Yeah, I'm going to evolve Monotheist.
Yes, it is truly, it feels like the perfect third chapter of Tom G. Warrior's musical output, and it resulted in some of the heaviest music ever written. Even the songs like Shadow, like the ballads, are heavy. Guides me to a bottomless pit of pain.
Dude, awesome.
Great song. Triptykon takes this matchup.
Interesting. When I first saw that, I thought for sure you were gonna ride for Warning like all the way in. You're being
Listen,
very objective.
I think that's a top 4 or 5 records ever. Watching from a distance, ever, period, in music ever. Mm-hmm. But I'm a man of science and logic, and this is the heaviest band of all time. I'm not going to play technicalities here.
You know, it would be interesting. I don't know how to do this, but to take like a record of each of these bands and look at like the waveform of each band and see like the actual metric of like, here's how it's EQ'd.
You know that, but that might go to like Torch.
Yeah, it's funny that they're not on here because we did talk about them recently, but
but they're way more melodic than they are heavy.
Very,
but
very
those
true.
heavy moments,
same with like Mastodon, very heavy band.
Yeah, it's true. They probably could have been on here.
Gojira, very heavy band.
Gojira, I considered, but I'm not familiar enough with them.
Fair enough.
And here's the thing: I've said this before on the show a bunch, but Gojira, I always have the utmost respect for, because when I saw the first Slayer tour after Hanneman died, Gojira was the only opener. That's a tough slot.
Oh, wow.
That's a tough crowd.
I got you. Yeah.
Opening for Slayer is scary because you might just get Slayer.
Yeah.
Some of the loudest ovations I've ever heard during Gojira.
Really?
They finished every song and they had the fucking crowd in the palm of their hands. It was beautiful.
They're just
so honorary mention to Gojira.
Yeah, honorary. I agree.
Big time.
I agree.
That's our first round on the left side.
You want to sum that up for everybody just listening?
Yeah. So the winners, the next round matchups for the left side are Crowbar versus Metallica, Black Sabbath versus Cannibal Corpse, the funniest thing I've ever heard, Dying Fetus versus Celtic Frost, Demilich versus Triptykon. Those are big matchups.
Those are interesting.
Those are main events.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the second round, this is pay-per-view quality shit here.
We're booking an incredible fest right now.
Oh my God, this is the best fest of all time. Maryland Death Fest, hit us up. We got you. Okay, it's time for the right side, Bo.
This first one is Godflesh vs Hatebreed. This one
crazy matchup
is a crazy matchup because truly, is Hatebreed heavier or harder?
They're absolutely a harder band than they are heavy.
Okay, I agree. And I think, and then it's like, okay, but who are they up against? It's Godflesh.
They're up against Godflesh, and I think Godflesh does so many things so well. You know, they
have a lot of dynamics within
again Amazon-esque in their job creation.
Yeah,
pioneered, created this genre pretty much.
Yeah, heavier
than Hatebreed. I don't know.
I honestly, I don't know.
I don't know. Let's call in a judge.
Who are we gonna call?
We're gonna call in Taylor Young. All right, we have Taylor Young here to determine the winner of the next bracket. So first round, right side is Godflesh versus Hatebreed. This is tough because Hatebreed skews a lot harder, but Godflesh pioneered a genre. But I'm having a hard time saying they're heavier than Hatebreed.
It's Hatebreed. There's no debate.
Thank you, Taylor.
Resident expert Taylor Young determines.
Sorry.
Thank you, Taylor. Sorry, Godflesh.
Yeah, of course. I feel like Justin.
Taylor.
Justin would be like, "Well, yeah, it's all right." You know, I don't think
it's all right. Hatebreed's pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's pretty all right.
All right. Well, there you go. Hatebreed wins first bracket.
Yes.
Okay. Hilarious matchup for this second bracket.
Yeah.
It is Candlemass versus Morbid Angel.
Well, this is tough.
It's not. It's Morbid Angel. Come on. Listen, all due respect to Candlemass, probably my third favorite band of all time. But we're talking heavy, and it's Morbid Angel.
Okay.
Morbid Angel is going to make it far in this. Let's be real.
For heaviest.
It's not, few things come close. Let's be brutally honest here. Pound for pound, track for track.
Okay.
Morbid Angel clears absolutely most things. Definitely Candlemass, who you're doing operatic gothic doom metal songs. Morbid Angel's goal is heavy music.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Florida music.
Yeah.
So here we go. Okay. This next round devastates me to look at. And Carrie, I think you've done a
Oh my God.
You've devastated
Both
me.
of them are brutal.
It is Xibalba versus Pantera. And listen, I know Xibalba understands. Brian, I know you're listening, and I know you understand here. Xibalba.
One of three on the list. One of three
One
hardcore
of
bands.
one of three or four hardcore bands on this list.
Dearly believe.
Deserves the spot like you wouldn't believe. Justice Tripp once did an interview talking about Trapped Under Ice where he was like, I don't want to make as much heavy music anymore because what's the point if Xibalba's the heaviest? Xibalba's making the heaviest songs in the world. What's the point?
It's so sick.
And, he's got a point. And I do think, it deserves to be said. Xibalba has been carrying the heavy torch for Southern California and for hardcore for a long time. They belong to be here 110%. But unfortunately, they're up against a titan.
They're up against a band that, like, when you hear Domination and you really think about, and that's on the first, like, real effort, it's like, God damn it.
And it only got heavier.
And it only
Suicide Note 2, there's, come on.
Yeah. I want Xibalba to win.
I know. Listen, I would love to be nepotistic here.
Yeah.
I think even Xibalba would be mad at me because I know, listen, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Xibalba, I love you more than life itself. Pantera is Pantera here.
Yeah.
I gotta reluctantly go Pantera here.
Yeah.
Shout out to Xibalba.
But what's sick is Pantera's gonna lose to whoever wins this.
100%.
Yeah. Next,
They're not making it past second round.
We have Sepultura versus Down, which is actually...
That's an incredible... That is
really difficult.
It is. Because you've got Kirk, one of the heaviest riffers of all time.
Yeah. Pepper. Rex.
You got Pepper, a goat. Rex, a goat.
And Phil.
Versus Sepultura.
Versus who I think are one of the more influential bands of hardcore. Whether people know it or not.
Not non-hardcore bands that have had an influence on hardcore, Sepultura is in the Mount Rushmore easily.
Easily.
Celtic Frost and Sepultura.
Yeah.
From metal world, the two bands that determined the next generation. 100%. It's Sepultura all the way for me here.
Okay. Because that's interesting. I might be arguing the other way. I might be saying that Sepultura is harder than they are heavy. Down is exclusively heavy.
Even so.
Okay.
Are they heavier than Sepultura?
Are they heavier than fucking Dead Embryonic Cells? And
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Dude. Are they heavier than Desperate Cry?
No.
That's a different kind of heavy.
It is a different kind
of
heavy.
And I think Sepultura's kind of heavy. It's not even close here. Troops of Doom, dude. How are you going to be fast and heavy?
Yeah.
They found a way.
Yeah.
It's Sepultura all the way.
Yeah. Okay.
This is getting hot.
That one's really hard because I listened to NOLA last night.
Yeah, it's heavy and it's great and it's incredible and it's a
little more melodic, a little more bluesy.
It's way more melodic, catchier than Sepultura.
Yeah, for sure.
But heavier? Come on.
The Killer once covered Bury Me in Smoke in a venue in Chicago that never had a show ever again. It was the first and last. And when it got to the fucking verse riff, there were these street lights in the venue, as decorative street lights, but small.
Yeah.
But they were just throughout, and they got torn out of the ground and used as weapons.
I get it.
And so for what I think about, and also that's the first song that Down wrote.
But also,
which is just
that
fun.
verse you're talking about,
yeah,
way harder than it is heavy. Think about it.
I don't know.
If you're going kung 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 kung.
Okay, but think about the verse to Nomad. It is that.
It's heavy as hell.
All right.
Sepultura wins. Come on. Go pound for pound. Go track for track here and tell me I'm wrong.
And that's good because then if we can't have Phil winning twice over Xibalba. You know what I mean? Can't happen. If Xibalba would want Sepultura to go all the way, I'm sure. So
100%. And Xibalba gets what they want here. Sepultura over Down, 100%.
Okay, I'm with you.
Crazy next matchup. Converge versus Deicide.
Two very different kinds of heavy.
Two very different kinds of heavy.
I only like Once Upon a Cross.
I mean, this is a top 10 band for me of all time.
I know that. I do know that about you, obviously, but I'm not very well versed. Whereas Converge,
You know a lot, but it ain't all heavy.
It's not all heavy. No, you're right. You're absolutely
Whereas
right.
Deicide, every ounce of it is heavy.
Yeah.
The fast parts are heavy. The blast parts are heavy. The pit parts are heavy. They are still writing good shit. I don't like the AI album art, of
Yeah,
course,
obviously.
but my God, this is a special band. There was something I posted something the other day of saying, oh, it was the No Doubt Tragic Kingdom, where I said almost nothing is better than this. I do think Deicide is better than that.
Now let me raise something. Are they harder than they are heavy?
No.
Because even Converge is like Jesus Lizard. Dun, 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 dun.
Those are heavy.
That's a heavy song.
I agree. I think almost nothing on here beats Deicide, if we're being honest.
Yeah. See,
Heavy. Listen, if we took every record track for track next to each other, obviously Converge would have many moments where they win. Deicide is defined what heavy means in death metal.
okay,
You know?
I think you're going to lament that logic when we get to the final matchups.
That's fine. Okay. I'm fine with that. But I think right now, Converge versus Deicide, and I see what you're going for right now.
Yeah.
It's situational. And I think it's situational with Converge because so many of it is so abstract and melodic in a way that isn't heavy, that balances out where Deicide not for 1 second do they do anything like that other than be heavy.
But do you think anyone whose last name isn't Young has ever spin kicked to Deicide?
No. And I think that determines that something is hard.
Many people have spun cuck to Converge.
I think Deicide is too heavy to spin kick to.
That's funny. I really truly think the opposite. I think Converge is heavier than hard. Deicide harder than heavy. But
Deicide doesn't have a lot of like obvious big breakdown parts.
very
though.
true. Very true. But
It's really just like
I see.
the most hateful anti-Christian lyrics over and over and over again that makes you feel nothing but hate.
You know, it's a good example. I don't think he had much to do other than singing, but like you listen to that Vital Remains record that Glenn Benton did.
Hate.
And that's heavy without a slow part. Like that,
Exactly.
that whole, so that's actually a good point.
And
So-
that defines Deicide's career.
Okay.
Is like it's fast and intense and still heavy somehow.
all right. I concede.
It's got to be Deicide.
Yeah.
This is actually a really good matchup. Type O Negative versus Sleep.
I'm not a huge sleep guy, but I do, when it comes on, I am always like, oh, that's kind of fun. Like,
Yeah, that hour-long song was pretty
yeah,
good.
I like the desert, dude. Dune rocks. I'm all in. It's fine.
Type O is a very similar kind of heavy to them as well. And a kind of heavy as Warning is like the emotional weight is considered.
Type O is simultaneously the heavy kind that Warning is, and also the heavy kind that Black Sabbath is, very purposefully.
Yeah, their genre of music is heavy metal.
1,000%.
I don't think they're heavier than Sleep.
You don't?
I don't.
We got problems.
This is my favorite band of all time.
I know it. So I'm when I'm looking back at our winners for the left side, I'm confused as to how that doesn't carry over here.
Because again, this is facts and logic. I'm trying to be unbiased here. Sleep's whole thing to people is that you get high and listen to it because it's so heavy. Isn't that the whole point?
Yeah.
Type O, my intention is not, I need to listen to something heavy. Let's throw on some Type O.
What's heavier? Singing about smoking hash in the desert and taking a trip to Jerusalem for an hour, or wanting to kill yourself for a whole record?
Type O wins, 100%.
Like Slow, Deep, and Hard, lyrically.
No, I know. And it's tough. I mean, here's the thing is people talk about one Sleep record for the most part.
Yeah, I only know two. I know Dope
Yeah.
Smoker and the one with Dragnaut on it. Which I think is self-titled.
They're both heavy, which Type O only got thematically heavier, really.
1,000%.
War Coming Down is...
Dude, World Coming Down is
Crushing.
the heaviest, both, thematically and kind of sonically. Look at the lyrics to Slow, Deep, and Hard.
Listen, I know. I know.
I think it's...
This feels like nepotism a bit, and I'm fine with that.
But there's a reason that
Because
it is.
it's ours.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's a reason. When I read the lyrics to Gravity, it like changed me.
Yeah. Me too. That's the song that made them my favorite band.
There's nothing heavier than Gravity, baby. You want to talk weight?
Great job. Great work.
Now the next one is fucking insane.
Yeah, this is crazy. Bolt Thrower versus Napalm Death.
Now I'm going to be honest with you. If I was a betting man and I wanted to do like a side bet and like we should have like written down on a card who we thought and then shown it at the end of who we thought was going to be the winner. That would have been fun.
Oh, I think we both know who the winner is.
Yeah. So Bolt Thrower are the band who I mentioned at the very beginning, who I think are evenly hard and heavy.
I agree.
Like literally 50-50 because every heavy part is fucking hard.
I agree. You can say the same thing about Napalm Death.
I don't think so. You can't say that about a 2-second song. That's neither heavy nor
They're
hard.
not. There's so much more depth to them than 2-second songs.
I know, but Bolt Thrower doesn't have one. And it's just like by default. Like it's just like I like Napalm Death. I've heard
Napalm Death is the Black Sabbath of grind. You know?
Sure, yeah. I'm fully. Oh, we didn't put Carcass on here, which is kind of crazy.
Didn't the huge omission?
That's a big omission.
To Carcass.
It's a big omission. Shout out Carcass. You'll be on the hard one because they got hard parts too.
Carcass will be on the hard one for sure. And if anything, yeah, that's easy.
Yeah.
This is hard because Bolt Thrower again, melodic band. Napalm Death, not at all.
Mm-hmm. But
it is truly just extreme, abrasive, oppressive, heavy music.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. Crowbar is very melodic.
I know. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's like you got to, if you're going to use that logic, you got to keep it the whole time. Fast for the sake of fast, grind for the sake of grind, to me, doesn't equal heavy.
But what I'm saying is there's so much more to them.
And I'm fully aware of that, but I don't think Bolt Thrower ever does that. So by de facto,
but I think that's irrelevant because Napalm Death is never melodic. So if one of those things, those cancel each other out.
But melody can be hard or heavy. Excuse me, melody can be heavy.
Sure. So can a 2-second song is heavy.
No, there's no way. There's no argument.
Listen, you cover "You Suffer" anywhere in the world, you're gonna get the biggest pop you've ever heard.
No, you're gonna get a room full of people who have no idea what you just played.
No, they love it. I've had people sing along to it.
I get it, and I've seen them play it. You know what I mean? Like I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Bolt Thrower to me is the name I would have written down on the card. They are the heaviest band in existence.
You think so?
That's my, I hate to say it in the first round still, but that's my pick. Yeah. I think Bolt Thrower is everything I want from heavy. And I think they're
far harder than they are heavy. I borderline wouldn't have put them on here.
You just said 30 seconds ago that they're 50-50 heavy and hard.
You said they're 50.
And you said
I said you're right. I lie all the time.
I hope everyone can see the gaslighting that's going on in this.
Steven here, editor for HardLore. Let's go back 30 seconds.
Like literally 50-50 because every heavy part is fucking hard.
I agree.
I mean,
listen, there's few bands I like as much as I like Bolt Thrower.
Mr. Young's Hot Air Balloon, and I'm just like,
I've taken so many riffs from this band.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're all hard.
And they are all hard. But like, dude, when the kill chain comes on and that part underneath the kill chain is gung 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 gung, that's heavy as fuck.
I think if you're doing this, it's hard.
No, that's heavy. You're headbanging.
No, I disagree.
You're moshing to hard, you're headbanging to heavy.
I disagree.
How can you?
I think heavy is...
No one was moshing to Black Sabbath.
Wow. Yeah, I know. Because I wasn't there.
Plus...
You should have seen me.
Dude. Now, I will say this. Thematically, Bolt Thrower is very hard.
Yeah. World
War I, mercenaries, the Crusades. That's
yeah.
You know, that's a different discussion.
All right, we'll give it to Bolt Thrower.
Thank you. Now, this next one is really funny.
This may be the hardest pick of the whole bracket.
I think if we're sticking with what hard versus heavy is,
It's Obituary.
We have Slayer versus Obituary. I personally think that Obituary is way heavier than Slayer.
Heavier.
Way heavier than Slayer. Like
They're
way.
if in that scientific test of like, ohms and decibels of like if you're scanning
The
heavy
frequencies,
music, Obituary might have a shot.
They have a real shot. Whereas Slayer is fucking hard. There are
Slayer will be in the hardest bands list as well.
Probably in the final four.
And I will say, if this was best band ever, Slayer might go all the way. But heaviest band
versus Obituary, who are like, again, similar to the Dying Fetus thing, where it's like, yeah, they're doing this purposefully.
Their whole intention is be heaviest band.
And like Slayer ain't playing LDB. Which doesn't really count in this discussion, but
that doesn't mean anything.
But it's something
that might make them heavier. Yeah, it's Obituary.
I think it just has to be.
We're talking heavy. We're talking heavy.
We're not talking better.
We're not talking fast.
Yeah.
We're not talking best riffs ever.
Yeah.
Which again, Slayer, dude.
There we go.
Best riffs ever. That's a good
Steven,
bracket.
delete that for anyone.
See you in a couple weeks for best riffs ever.
Yeah. We're
not talking best band ever, which again, Slayer could win.
Yeah.
We're talking heaviest. Obituary is heavier than Slayer.
Yeah. Yes.
And that concludes our first round.
First round, 42 minutes in. This will go quick now.
Oh.
Well, because everything's having. So now
we're fine. Yeah, we're fine. This is fun.
This is fun.
Okay, so our first round winners again are Hatebreed and Morbid Angel, Pantera and Sepultura, Deicide and Type O Negative, and Bolt Thrower and Obituary. This is a blast. You know what else is a blast, Bo?
What's that?
Exploding Kittens.
Oh my goodness.
The #1 backed Kickstarter project of all time.
They are.
This fun, incredible, amazing card game has now expanded into a fun, an empire of fun.
I'm holding a game here called Mantis, a colorfully cutthroat card game of rainbows and revenge. I want to play.
Rainbows and Revenge?
Rainbows and
Finally.
Revenge.
What we like to do is we get a little group together. We play these games. We bonk each other on the head. They're vicious. They're competitive. And you can play with just 2 people.
Down to 2 people. That's right.
And they are so kind that they've offered our listeners 25% off their entire store.
Is that the biggest discount?
That's the biggest discount in HardLore history.
They are.
So jump on it now.
Yes, they are the best. They are the real deal. We have fun, cool stuff we're going to be announcing soon, having to do with them. Couldn't be happier.
We're so happy to have them on the team. We're so honored. Please check it out. Give them a shot. This episode is also brought to you, as always, by Manscaped.
Oh, my.
Listen, this is the heaviest bands of all time.
Dude.
The people that go to watch these bands are the stinkiest people of all time. Therefore, this is a match made in heaven.
This is perfect. They all need this. They all need this code.
Nobody on earth. That's not true. Nobody that listens to this show needs to stink.
Wow.
You know why?
I do.
Because we can give you 20% off at Manscaped site-wide.
Plus free shipping.
Oh my God, you get free shipping too. You have no excuse.
No excuse.
Quit dicking around and clean it. With the Crop Reviver, the Crop Preserver, it's over for a stink. Okay,
it's awesome. I got the Handyman. I used it. It works perfect. I used the lawnmower. It's great. The body wash is great. The scrubber is amazing. My skin is silky smooth.
Yeah, we're clean here. We smell good, and it's time for the second round in the heaviest band of all time. Holy Lord! So big first matchup here.
Yeah, we got Crowbar versus Metallica, and look, I'm a man of my word. I know it's Crowbar.
It's got to be Crowbar.
I love Metallica. Metallica is my Type O.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
Sometimes it's the Misfits, but sometimes it's Metallica. Right now it's Metallica, but I know that it's Crowbar.
Yeah,
and they know that it's Crowbar.
Metallica I would have to think they agree.
Absolutely. If Hetfield's wearing, I think, you know, Hetfield in the Some Kind of Monster documentary, he's wearing. Aaron Osborne told me this. He's wearing one of the most limited, hard to find down shirts ever. It's the first one.
Really?
Yeah, that like you only got they only had it ever at the first down show. And he's wearing
That's
it
interesting.
when he's doing like some bullshit vocal for
In some kind of monster.
Yes.
Post
Way
the
post.
fuck Metallica, man.
Yeah.
Speech. That's very fascinating.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know that Kirk is a writer who's constantly inspired by stuff, you know?
Yeah.
He's for sure out here being like, Crowbar, they're heavy band, man.
Blew
You
up
know?
my speaker.
Yeah, they blew up my amp, this amp.
Once again, if you have the Kirk Hammett talking about his pedal blowing up his amp,
Please
send it to us.
Kirk, please,
Please.
if you have the Dark Blood pedal demonstration video, we're dying to see it. It does not exist anymore. We need it. Please send it. Thank you. Dark Blood.
So it's Crowbar.
So okay, it's
And
Crowbar easy.
That makes sense.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Now we got
Black Sabbath versus Cannibal Corpse here.
And now I'm really
Utmost respect to the goats, Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
You ain't heavier than Cannibal Corpse.
Especially, yeah.
Dude, come on.
I know. I'm really trying to think of like what we've been saying heavy means.
I think whatever we've been saying, Scourge of Iron takes exception. You know, you put fucking Evisceration Plague up next to fucking War Pigs. That's too. You're gonna be like, these are not the same genre of music.
Yeah.
This one's way heavier.
Okay.
Even though Black Sabbath is
that's a really good way to
the
put it.
reason for the season.
Yeah.
Cannibal Corpse is Cannibal Corpse. It is what it is.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
Yeah.
In our next matchup, this is tough.
Fetus.
Dying Fetus versus Celtic Frost. I do think this is a
hard versus heavy.
This is a hard versus heavy, and I think it's got to go Celtic Frost.
Yes, I fully agree. Dying Fetus have harder parts. Celtic Frost have the heaviest parts.
100%.
100%.
Yes, period.
Yeah.
They have mastered these like slow and heavy while still being intense and makes you do the face.
Yeah.
That's Celtic Frost.
Yeah. I fully agree. And again, Fetus is one of the bands that will be on the hard list.
100%.
No problem. You'll note for anyone playing along at home that some of our like Marauder is not on here. And that was very intentional.
That's a hard band.
Because that's the hardest band.
We'll see.
Maybe.
You know. We'll see in a couple of weeks. Yeah, this is kind of no contest to me, in no disrespect to Dying Fetus, because they're so much harder than Celtic Frost. You know?
There has to be one heavy. So there's no disrespect intended at all.
No, it is what it is.
And there's like
it's not disrespect. You're on this list. You are.
Yeah, right.
This is respect.
And there's also
right
like all the bands we've omitted. Like I'm also realizing as I'm sitting right here with this Danzig poster, Danzig 1's got heavy parts. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, but I think it loses to everything on
no
here.
problem. But it's in the discussion. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many bands.
If it like the definition of heavy metal has changed because it has evolved.
Of course.
You know, we're not saying best guy is some monkey, because there's guys now, you know?
What?
Monkeys are monkeys now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get it.
We've
evolved.
Okay. Evolution.
We're Cannibal Corpse now.
I got you. Yeah, we're not
monkey anymore.
Yeah, we're not monkey.
Monkey, I would love to return to monkey.
But now we're corpse
I'm stuck
grinder.
as a guy.
Yeah.
And I think, you know,
now we come
Celtic Frost is heavier.
Yeah, we come blood.
100%.
So now who do we got? We got a band name I can't read and have already forgotten.
Demilich versus Triptykon.
And that, come on. Without even hearing.
Oh, it's Demilich. It's Demilich. 100%. 100%.
So let me ask you this, Colin. Since you're saying this, who would it be Triptykon versus Celtic Frost? You see what I'm saying?
I'm so glad I don't have to do that.
Yeah, but now you do. Thank
God I don't have to make that decision.
That's such a good matchup.
It's probably Celtic Frost.
Interesting. Because Triptykon does have more like melodic.
A lot of weird atmosphere.
That's 100%.
But Celtic Frost has like a glam rock record, you know?
Yeah, but
So you can factor both, but I do still think
I think you're forgetting about the Demilich glam rock record, which people often forget about. But
it's called Jess and the Ancient Ones, and it's incredible. Yeah, it's got to be Demilich here. Just Demilich's it's in fucking like A.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is that it's heavy and very oppressive because, again, the man is burping.
Okay. I will, just go with your judgment on it because I have such little experience with it. I'm also realizing we could have put Nachos on this because that is a very heavy band.
It's a heavy band.
There's a lot of heavy bands that can go on this. Okay.
Again, but it's like, it's hard to look in hardcore for heavy explicitly.
Yes.
Even though that's our bread and butter. We're here. We are here for hardcore.
Yeah.
But this is science and facts and logic here.
So our left side quarterfinals, what do we got?
We've got Crowbar versus Cannibal Corpse. That is fucked. And we've got Celtic Frost versus Demilich.
Okay. Let's go to the right side.
That's going to be for an exciting semifinal.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Yes.
All right. Let's get to our second round right side picks. First off, Hatebreed versus Morbid Angel.
Morbid Angel. Jamie would probably say them.
He would go, oh, Morbid Angel's heavy.
Let me tell you something.
Hatebreed's hard.
Let me tell you something. When we toured with Cannibal and Hate Eternal opened, Eric Rutan, who played in Morbid Angel, his first tour with Morbid Angel was opening for Pantera. He told us that when Perseverance came out, he listened to it every day for 2 years.
Here's the thing. I get it. I get that. But at the same time, Joss is going to be like, Morbid Angel's the heaviest band.
Yeah, but that is not, that's him being humble. That's not.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's not an objective look.
But I agree, but I'm thinking like objectively here, heavy. Morbid Angel versus Hatebreed?
Call your brother.
This goes Morbid Angel. There's no call needed. Think about this, dude. Think about where the slime live.
Think about what we consider, like what hardcore, as you said, our bread and butter, what that considers heavy.
I consider Hatebreed kings of hard. That Joss's whole thing is hard.
Yeah.
It ain't heavy, I think I don't know if anybody in history has done hard better than Hatebreed. Morbid Angel, Mount Rushmore heavy, dude. Tones, riffs, vibe.
What I'm finding is that you and I have very different definitions of what we think heavy are. With these selections, I fully disagree. I'll concede. I fully disagree.
So we were saying we need a tiebreaker.
I think so. I think Hatebreed is heavier, especially
than Morbid Angel. I think that is, to me.
Yeah.
And I think every member of Hatebreed would agree.
That don't matter.
Craziest thing you've ever said on this show.
That don't matter. That doesn't matter.
That don't matter.
That don't matter. Who loves? Oh, are you calling Taylor?
Oh, yeah, we're getting the resident tiebreaker Taylor Young back here.
I like that because I do think he's the best objective.
All right, we got another tiebreaker. Taylor Young is here. In the second round, we've got Hatebreed versus Morbid Angel. To me, this is not even close.
Heavy.
It's Morbid Angel with a bullet.
But say heavy, not hard.
Heavy. Heavy.
Heaviest band is Morbid Angel.
Fuck!
There we go.
I mean, one riff on Gateways it beats almost anything.
And I said that Hatebreed would probably agree.
Yeah, it's hard and heavy.
See?
Yeah.
See?
All
Thank
right.
you, Taylor.
Thank you,
I'll call
Taylor.
you in round 3.
That was perfect. All right. So then there you go. I'm soundly defeated in the discussion. I concede to the young
The
players.
judges have concurred that Morbid Angel wins the first match in the second round.
Fuck.
Yeah. What can you do,
What I can do is argue tooth and nail for this next one.
Oh, you won't need to, brother.
Okay, good. Good.
It is Pantera versus Sepultura.
Listen. I don't know. There are two pairs of brothers in my life who have impacted me. Two, I'm talking to. The other pair are the Cavalera brothers. And
big fist bump for the Cavaleras, because to me here, no question, Sepultura is the heavier band.
Absolutely. Pantera, maybe the more extreme, like, especially commercially, considering their success, it's like, whoa, where they went and what they did is pretty crazy. But again, when we're working everything in and kind of genre defining, because like Pantera started somewhere and then they went to a place that's like the Trailblaze. They're hacking.
And they've admitted that. You know, they heard Exhorder and were like, we got to do what Exhorder's doing.
Yeah.
Sepultura were children in Brazil.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Fucking changing the goddamn world.
I may have misspoke. I may have said Pantera started one thing and then we're trailblazing. I meant Sepultura. They started as more of okay, so I totally meant Sepultura and I'm agreeing with you. They ended up fucking bushwhacking, dude. They're in the Amazon carving a new path for music.
Yeah.
Like
true, 100%. Like they are the real deal. Those first 4 or 5 records influenced like every heavy band, every hard band that we like and have ever been in.
Dude, and like, you know, people may not like the record, might be divisive, but like Roots is a crazy game changer when you really consider where they started versus when the brothers left or when Max left.
100%.
It's crazy. So for me, it's Sepultura all the way.
Yeah, I would say it's not even close here. Okay. If heavy is the conversation, not even close. They never wrote a ballad, you know?
So true. So true.
And I love them ballads.
Dude, Cemetery Gates.
Cemetery
Gates is one of the best songs of all time.
But we're talking heavy here, and science has declared.
I love it.
Sepultura is the winner.
No, this next one is going to break your brain in half.
No, this is easy.
Okay. Oh fuck, we're gonna argue.
It's Deicide all the way.
Get Taylor on the line. There's no way Deicide is heavier than Type O.
Are you serious?
Heavier
what
than
are you saying?
World Coming Down?
Yes. You're too emotional here, dude.
No.
This is science and facts and logic. Deicide versus Type O.
Talking about wanting to nail the Nazarene and kill God is heavy. But there is nothing heavier than constantly wanting to kill yourself, dude.
Emotionally, sure.
And that's a third of what we're talking about.
Bo, Deicide versus Type O, listen to yourself. I get it. Emotionally, this is my favorite band of all time. To say Type O is way heavier than Deicide is emotional. You're being reckless.
I really don't think so.
It's reckless.
From the tuning to like the fucking China used on World Coming Down to the subject matter.
But intention is not even heavy with Type O.
That's not true.
I don't think that the intention of this is like, this is the heaviest song ever. I doubt they ever said that.
Dude, they wanted
after Slow Deep and Hard, honestly.
They wanted to be Black Sabbath, of course.
They wanted to be the Beatles and Kiss.
But there's a quote where one of them said, "We covered Day Tripper because it's heavy."
I know, but still.
Heavy.
When your whole thing is, we are a mixture of Kiss, Black Sabbath, and the Beatles. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Deicide will say, fuck you, fuck God. That's our influence.
That's hard.
It's badass is what it is.
And of course it's badass. I'm not saying that Deicide's bad. I'm just saying if we're talking heavy.
This is crazy.
Weight.
This is my favorite band.
I know, but you think blast beats are not.
You think I don't hear where you're coming from?
Blast beats don't equal heavy to me. You know? And Type O doesn't have that.
Deicide isn't all blast.
I know they're not, but they have way more than Type O, who have zero.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't help your case.
Yeah, of course it does. I just said that blast beats are not heavy to me, and Type O have none of them.
They can be.
They can be. You're right. They can be. Like Asuk is a very heavy.
This is a crazy. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but this is kind of bad because I'm realizing you guys grew up the same, and of course you're gonna agree.
Please feel free. If you've got a judge you want to call in on this.
I think James is working around. Let me call him. Yo, you're on the podcast right now. We are doing a bracket of heaviest bands. And I need your opinion, okay?
Let's hear it.
So we're on this one semifinal bracket. We have Type O Negative versus Deicide for heaviest.
Heaviest.
Not hardest, heavy.
I mean, like, if we're going what I like better, clearly Type O Negative. But, I mean, Once Upon the Cross, I mean, is probably heavier in theory than anything Type O Negative.
Heavier than World Coming Down?
100%.
I mean, I would say
Colin says 100%.
Deicide has harder parts if we're talking about heaviest comparatively. I like World Coming Down better than anything Deicide's ever done, but
Okay.
I think if we're going
But this is
heaviest
heavy.
Okay. James, I'll text you. Hold on. Someone else is calling. I'll text you back. Saba.
What up?
Yo, you're on the podcast right now. He's on a boat. He's on a fucking boat. He's on Harvey's Lake. Yo, we're doing a heaviest bands bracket, okay?
Yeah.
We need your objective opinion. This is for heavy, not hard.
Yeah, heavy.
Deicide versus Type O Negative. Who is the heavier band?
Type O.
No.
Type O easily.
Easily.
Type O by leaps and bounds.
I would
No.
I would agree.
Is that all you called me for?
That's all I called you for,
That's it.
baby. We need an expert.
That's simple. It's that simple. Yeah.
All right.
Type O Negative by a head and a flank.
Perfect.
This is not right.
Colin's pissed.
We're
I
tied.
love
It's
you,
a
buddy.
double tie.
Colin, get your ears checked.
He says get your ears checked. Love you, buddy.
No. All right, we got to get one more judge in before we can make this call.
You're right, we do. Who you calling?
Tyler Young. All right. So we called others just in case to get other opinions, and now we've got a double tie for this next bracket, which is,
Reiterate heavy.
and this is heaviest. But to me, the answer is clear: Type O Negative versus Deicide.
See. Okay, well, you were putting the brackets together. I said Type O Negative shouldn't be on the brackets, so
For heavy?
I'm going with Deicide.
It's Deicide. All right, so
Heaviest.
that's what I said. So James Pliggy agrees. Saba says Type O.
Yeah, but he's special. You know,
It's Deicide, man.
it is. It's clear.
Heavy?
Yes, heavy. Paul mutes.
All right, we're gonna make one more call. If it's, and then we're gonna go until we've got an answer,
Okay.
an agreeable
So
judge.
it's tied again.
We're tied again. You're the tiebreaker, but we need one more because obviously we agree with each other. You know?
Can I pick your call?
Yeah, I was gonna call Mike Cesario. Who should we call?
I know Mike's answer. Mike's answer is Deicide. So, but you can call him and get that answer. That's
Yeah.
a good one though. You should call him.
All right, well, we'll call Mike.
Okay, bye.
Let's see it.
Son of a bitch. I'm getting murdered out here.
Oh,
We got Mike Cesario getting a haircut right now, live on HardLore. Okay, so this episode is the heaviest band of all time. We're down to a bracket. We're tied.
Heaviest band of all time.
Heaviest band of all time. We're tied on a certain bracket, and this is heavy. The matchup is Type O Negative versus Deicide. We need you to break the tie.
Is it just those two that I'm?
That's it. Type O Negative versus Deicide, heaviest band.
Fuck. I mean, it's Deicide, obviously.
Obviously.
Fuck.
Obviously.
Deicide, come on.
It's Deicide. Thank you, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
Got it.
Have a great haircut. Bye, Mike.
There's an asterisk for this, but whatever. Let's move on.
I disagree.
God damn
I
it.
just think that the fact that this was even a debate is insane to me. That's how passionately I think about it. And I'm sure you feel the same. But dude, science and facts and logic. Heavy.
Yeah, I again, I think the definition of heavy is wavering for me. I'm learning what you think is heavy.
But how can you listen to Deicide and think it's anything but that?
It is true that there are like groovy psychedelic Type O songs that are not heavy.
That are not heavy. And there's not 1 second of Deicide music that is anything really other. The intention is heavy the whole time.
Yeah, fast or heavy.
Even during the blast, the riffs are like, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
It's heavy.
All right.
All right. Bolt Thrower versus Obituary.
It's Bolt.
Tough.
It's Bolt Thrower. I'm not fucking around anymore. Listen, Bolt Thrower is it, dude. Bolt Thrower have as heavy riffs as Obituary. They probably even have a similar amount of releases, huh?
Maybe they have what, like 8 or 9 LPs?
Like around that, you know, I'm sure.
The Obituary's got 8 or 9 LPs.
Dude, they are both kind of equally heavy and kind of equally.
This is really hard. This is tough.
This is tough.
This is harder than the last one. But after what we just went through, I think I'll go Bolt Thrower.
Call them all up. I just think so.
And again, like my heart says otherwise. I'll tell you. I'll be honest with you. My heart says Obituary is the heavier band.
I'm going to be honest,
and I think again that's because the intention of Obituary's entire discography is to make a heavy band, man.
And you know what? I'm going to concede. It's
because
Obituary.
you know that's not Bolt Thrower.
100%. That's exactly my reasoning. And also, I can't argue Bolt Thrower versus Deicide with you, or I will lose my mind. So I'm happy to argue Obituary versus Deicide with you because I have less skin in the game. Bolt Thrower are the best band ever.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if this is best band of all time, Slayer would not have been out at all.
No, dude.
And Bolt Thrower would never be out at all.
Dude,
the best bands of all time episode is gonna be 4 hours long.
The compendium.
It's gonna be very long. Okay. Obituary takes Bolt Thrower.
Yeah.
Barely.
Honestly, barely. And like that breaks my heart. I fucking love Bolt Thrower.
No, I agree, but like it's not to say that they're worse.
Of course, I just want them to win. They're harder than Obituary for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. But here's the thing, like even in their heaviest songs, there are these like beautiful melodic moments where Obituary truly never strayed from what they know that they are and what they want to be ever.
I agree. Perfect.
Okay. And that's our second round. Now we're at our quarterfinal matchups. Let's go left first.
Yeah.
Holy hell. Crowbar versus Cannibal Corpse.
Now listen. I love Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, me too.
I really do. It's Crowbar.
It's Crowbar.
Okay. Beautiful.
I'm not going to, it's 100%.
It's 100% Crowbar.
I think Cannibal Corpse would be like, oh yeah, it's Crowbar.
Yeah.
You know?
And I could see Crowbar being like, well, yeah, it's us.
Yeah, it's Crowbar, man. None heavier.
It's Crowbar. Wyson O'Neill.
Yeah. You know, great respect to Cannibal Corpse. They played they had incredible playoffs. They made it far. They deserve this spot 110%. They're up against this is an unwinnable match. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We've got Celtic Frost versus Demillich next.
Again, I default to you. I'm gonna say Celtic Frost because
it's Celtic Frost.
Okay,
it's
beautiful.
Frost. And again, I'm going back to the influence debate here.
Yes.
I have to bring it back because just so much does not exist without Celtic Frost. Plenty of things exist without Demillich.
There you go. That's a good way to put
it. An incredibly heavy band. I highly suggest if you're coming out of this episode looking for new music, Demillich is going to break your brain. If you hate disharmony, it's because Taylor was really into Demillich at the time. So a lot of things will make sense.
I'll listen to it tonight at the gym. This can be.
You're gonna be baffled, but then you'll hear the
magic,
the riffs within. You'll be like, dude, this is crazy.
Okay.
So the semifinal for the left side is Crowbar versus Celtic Frost.
Yes.
Banger, dude. What a fight. But let's get to our second round quarterfinals first. Yes. This is gonna be a doozy.
Sepultura versus Morbid Angel. I think we're a house divided.
This is a house divided.
We're a house divided.
I gotta go Morbid Angel here.
And I got to go Sepultura based on the thing that you just said about the influences.
Dude, same can be said for Morbid Angel. Morbid Angel Covenant was until something recent the highest selling American death metal album of all time.
Really?
Yes.
Really? More than a Cannibal Corpse record?
I think a Cannibal Corpse record beat it.
Okay. Yeah.
But for some time, Covenant was the highest selling American death metal album.
That is surprising.
Heavy. Again, Sepultura much harder than Morbid Angel. Heavy? Even Morbid Angel's blast parts are heavy. There's some melody. God of Emptiness is but even that is heavy. That's like Crowbar heavy.
Here's the other thing that I know you know about me, and it took me a minute with like Fetus. When it comes to metal, I'm fucking keto. I don't like the noodles. Get the noodles up out of my riffs. Morbid Angel's got some noodling. Sepultura's got none. So for me, that matters, you know? They're more about a riff, which is heavier than.
But around those with Morbid Angel, you're getting some of the heaviest riffs ever. And that they exist to get to those moments.
Fine.
The noodles make you earn the heavy.
But Crowbar and Sepultura and a lot of these bands do it without you needing to avoid a part. Or should I say,
I think this is extreme Boas right here.
Yeah, I'm a Boas.
This is extreme Bo bias.
But I know I'm not the only one. There are.
No, but you gotta, this is Morbid Angel. You know? Like objective death metal Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. And
objective.
Yeah. No argument. No argument.
Sepultura changed my life.
Same.
In ways that Morbid Angel did not.
Same.
But this is the heaviest band of all time.
Okay.
I think it's got to be Morbid Angel. But if you're sticking to your guns,
no, because
you want to call in a judge, you know what we can do.
I know, yeah, but you're fucking brother, man.
We don't have to call him.
No more judging, because it's just I'm talking to two of you. No, I'll concede, and I'll say Morbid Angel is heavier than Sepultura. I do think that Sepultura is harder.
100%.
And they are obviously, they're going to probably be a Final Four on the hardest list, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they're harder than they are heavier. So it just goes to show you how heavy they are.
Sepultura?
Yeah, for making it this far into the list.
100%.
No, I'm fine with that.
I love them. Again, they legitimately changed my life more so than most bands. I would say Celtic Frost had a similar impact. Pantera probably had a similar impact. Type O definitely had a similar impact.
I'm extrapolating, and I can already see what the semifinals for the right side are going to be, and I can't wait to see what this does to you. Let's continue.
It's going to be fucked up. So we're going Morbid Angel?
We're going Morbid Angel. That's fine.
The next bracket.
See, but here's the fucked up thing about like brackets. I'm looking at other matchups, and I'm like, they're heavier to me than Morbid Angel. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of
that's the name of the game. But ultimately, one winner is going to be crowned, and
you're right.
It's probably going to be the right one. You know?
Yeah, certain matchups would just determine different results, I think.
It's tough. Any one of these with the right matchup maybe could have been in the semifinal.
Except for one who I'm confident is going to win.
Yeah. So the next matchup is this is Florida, historic Florida shit right here. Deicide versus Obituary.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Obituary.
Okay. All right. You're impressing me.
I'm with you.
You're impressing me with your objectiveness about it.
I'm with you here. Deicide is again, top 10 all time. Obituary is probably number 11. You know?
Mm-hmm. But the intention.
Heavy. Deicide noodles.
Yeah.
The riffs are, I honestly, Obituary is just, they're so their own thing.
Yeah.
You know? And
don't get me wrong.
A lot of that is in part to Celtic Frost, where it's like, hey, maybe we're not the best guitar players. But we know what fucking heavy is.
Yeah, really well said. And don't get me wrong, there's some good pasta out there when it comes to riffs. Carcass.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you know?
Good, delicious. That's fucking fusilli.
Amanja. You know, that's good stuff.
Rigatoni. Morbid Angel.
Riffatoni.
Morbid Angel, that's fucking one of them new noodles.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of a fusilli. But Deicide versus Obituary.
It's Obituary.
Listen, if it's better band, I'm a Deicide guy.
Yeah.
If it's heaviest band, I don't think it's close that Obituary is the winner.
Okay, good. I agree with that. And I'm impressed by your objectiveness. I see now that your intention all along was to be fair.
Science and facts and logic is where I'm going. And that's why, like, you don't think it hurts me to eliminate Type O from this? You don't think that is hard for me?
Yeah.
Science and facts, SFL, dude, South Florida. You got to think about it, South Florida in this case. We've got our semifinals done. From the left side,
Yeah.
Crowbar, Celtic Frost.
Beautiful.
From the right side, Morbid Angel, Obituary.
Wow.
Florida is in this shit, dude.
Big time.
Scott Burns is all over this motherfucker. And this is it. We're gonna do our left side.
Yep.
Semifinal.
Yep.
Presented by Manscaped. Crowbar versus Celtic Frost.
Take a fucking
Crowbar.
Take a fucking guess, buddy.
It's fucking Crowbar.
It's Crowbar. Like
It's Crowbar.
it's funny putting Crowbar. This would almost be better with Crowbar off the list.
Yeah.
Because they're
Like, no
kind of just
Crowbar.
like,
It's tough. I mean, it's just they do everything that can be heavy about heavy music is in their songs.
literally,
Alcoholism.
physically,
Yes. Physical.
everything.
Girth. More okay.
Beards.
It's Crowbar. Congratulations. Celtic Frost, we love you so much.
Yeah.
We so greatly appreciate your contributions to music.
You had a great season.
Truly unbelievable season. With a different coach
yeah.
and a different matchup and different division,
Yeah.
might have gone all the way. But you're up against this is a real David versus Godzilla matchup, you know? And Lord Crowbar just nuked
Yeah.
Switzerland. And now, congratulations to Crowbar.
For being a finalist. Yeah.
And now we go to our right side semifinal.
I'm curious what you pick here.
This is
We got Morbid Angel.
crazy,
Versus
dude. These are
Obituary.
neighbors.
Yeah, neighbors, which is kind of cool, actually, when you really.
It is very cool. What Tampa has done for music. Because you got a Cannibal Corpse from Buffalo. They moved to Tampa. Got heavier.
Yeah.
There's something in the water there, and it is
Heavy.
lead.
Lead.
We've got Morbid Angel versus Obituary.
Yeah.
What's your immediate reaction, Bo?
Obituary. I never thought of Morbid Angel as being that heavy. They never were like a heavy band to me.
To me, this is where we're at an impasse.
Yeah. This is a
To me, this is like a runaway victory for Morbid Angel.
I'm gonna do that so that I can hear you talk through the finals. So fine. And I'm gonna
listen, let's get some judges.
I'm gonna need
Morbid
you
Angel versus Obituary. This is tough, Bo. I admit that this is tough.
call your brother. That's a good one.
You're not gonna like what he said.
God damn it, dude.
All right, he's not answering. Why don't you try another judge? Why don't you try Andy from Weekend Nachos?
That's a good one. I'm being honest, he'll probably say Morbid Angel. But
Let's see.
It would be nice to get an objective, like someone who we don't really talk too much. Oh, I got Charlie from Ingrown in the studio.
Wow.
Hey,
Unbelievable.
You guys are on the podcast right now. We need a tiebreaker. We're doing a bracket of heaviest bands. And Andy, I did call to get your opinion on this.
All right, cool. What's up?
Okay. So in our bracket right now, this is for to be one of the finalists. We have Morbid Angel. This is for heavy. Morbid Angel versus Obituary.
Dude, Obituary.
Fucking Obituary, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
That's Andy.
if we're defining, like, Morbid Angel tunes lower, but generally, I mean, are like faster. So if we're defining heaviness by like tempo and groove, it's Obituary, like, no question.
And then let me ask you something real quick. A former one that I conceded. It was Type O versus Morbid Angel. No, Deicide.
Deicide.
Type O versus versus Deicide.
Yeah, for heaviest.
For heavy. I mean, again, it's like, okay, like Once Upon the Cross is like a crushing record that's like got slow, well, not necessarily slow, but like groovy, brutal chug parts. Whereas Type O Negative is like slower than like most funeral doom bands.
Yeah, but we're not talking just tempo. Tempo doesn't determine heavy.
You know, and again, Type O,
Yeah.
I think probably tune lower.
Yeah.
So that's at all a factor.
It is. I agree.
I don't know. Like, yeah,
But-
if we're talking just straight groove, tempo, tuning.
No, listen. You show your mother Type O Negative and Deicide and ask which one is heavier. What's she gonna say?
Colin's saying which one is, if you showed your mother Type O versus Deicide, which one is she going to say is heavier?
He's gonna say Deicide, but like
Because they're gonna hear, because people who don't know anything.
Yes, I agree.
Like,
That's
they're gonna
science and
hear, like,
facts and logic. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Heaviness.
Okay.
And I don't think that's, if you know about heavy music, abrasiveness like isn't the most important point.
See, I fully agree. But for Obituary, you guys say Obituary?
yeah, 100
Yeah.
million.
100 million %. Thank you, boys. Thank you.
Okay.
Have fun. So that's 5 judges. So-
Listen, thank you, Ingrown and Andy. I appreciate that insight. I will go on record as to say Morbid Angel is the second heaviest band of all time.
Okay.
When Carrie made this bracket, I said, make sure Morbid Angel and Crowbar are not next to each other.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Okay. So what do we do?
We'll give it to Obituary. Listen, we're going science, facts, and logic. If a band like Ingrown hears the second heaviest band of all time, Morbid Angel, and thinks they're not as heavy as Obituary, then maybe my mom would too.
I think the way that Andy is considering what heavy means is more in line with how I think heavy means.
I get that,
Yeah.
but you can fake that.
Oh,
You know?
1,000%. There are very popular heavy bands that are not that heavy.
You can cover a Michael Jackson song in a slow, low tuning.
Of course.
And play it like Type O, and you're going to tell me it's heavier than Deicide because you played it in a slow, low tuning?
I fully understand what you're saying. I understand that, but Type O ain't doing
I think
that.
Obituary they're one of the heaviest bands of all time. It is much simpler music than Obituary is
Yeah.
playing.
Or you mean the Deicide
and
as well? Yeah.
No, than Obituary, because the matchup here is Morbid Angel and Obituary.
Oh, duh.
You know, and I love Obituary. I just think like Morbid Angel's Mount Rushmore heavy, no question.
Okay.
I think
Maybe I need
10 bands on this bracket are heavier than Obituary.
Can you make a Morbid Angel playlist?
Absolutely.
Give me 10.
Absolutely.
Give me 10 songs. Just give me a good taste. Like a meal.
Done, dude.
All right, cool.
I will fuck you up with Morbid Angel. You will print a retraction.
Maybe. I'd love to.
But listen,
Be that
but
as
you're
it
not
may.
alone. Clearly,
Yeah,
you got a
yeah.
room full of guys who disagreed with you, and that means our final
Yep.
for the heaviest band of all time. And now this is now a runaway victory. The final for the heaviest band of all time is Crowbar versus Obituary.
Which is awesome, by the way. 2 bands.
It's amazing.
Still rocking.
Yeah,
Still playing with hardcore bands here and there.
still writing great records.
Dude, fuck yeah. I'm actually really happy with these finalists.
Me too, because Morbid Angel is not doing that anymore.
Precisely. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Cannibal Corpse may be writing the best records of any damn band on this list now.
Band fucking rips.
That's a band. But
But
the final, this incredible final in the HardLore heaviest band of all time is Crowbar versus Obituary. And I think Bo and I can very clearly, confidently, and excitedly announce that the winner is Crowbar.
by a mile. Like Crowbar is Goku. Like it's not even fair.
Yeah, 100%, dude. This is Mario versus
Obituary.
Bowser Jr. You know?
Bowser Jr. Yeah.
And who is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing.
I love it. He's Mount Rushmore.
But there's greater foes for Mario
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. I like that there are the polar opposites on the bracket.
Yeah.
Northeast versus Southwest. It's kind of cool. They just
And they beat Slayer to get here, you know?
Yeah, they beat the fucking like bands that they would say, "Oh, that's a heavy band," you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really happy with the finalists. I think it's Crowbar. Like I said in the beginning, I wanted Bolt Thrower to be a finalist.
Yeah.
It's Crowbar. I knew right away.
But I think there's just, what defines heavy. But here's the thing is like Crowbar defies a lot of that.
Very much.
Somehow successfully.
Very much. They have cool like guitar effects that don't like Morbid Angel does like the chorus on vocals a lot. And like it works and it shouldn't work, but it sounds fucking awesome, Crowbar does that too. They have layers, great tones, fucking just I don't know.
They're much more in line with Type O than they are most bands on here.
Yes.
Which is like they're much more an example of what is traditionally defined as heavy metal, which is truly like they've done that. They've done heavy metal heavier and better than every single band in history, I would say.
Wow.
And consistently.
Heaviest band of all time.
The heaviest band of all time is Crowbar.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Congratulations to Crowbar. We accept on their behalf. Episode coming soon with Kirk. I swear to God, that's a real thing. It's going to be unbelievable. Yeah, we did it. Here's Kirk watching Twitching Tongues practice. Thank you. Kirk, Crowbar, truly game-changing, groundbreaking band.
Yeah.
We're so proud of them for being the heaviest band of all time. And we hope you had fun with this. We can't wait to do the hardest band of all time.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting because you're gonna get like demos. You're gonna get, you know what I mean? Like that's a totally different conversation.
It is,
And
yeah. But this was, I think we had Crowbar pegged from the jump.
I mean, you can almost look at this, and I know when you sent me the list, Crowbar was number one. They're the first one on the list of like, am I forgetting anyone? It was Crowbar.
Morbid Angel was number 2. Big shout out to Morbid Angel, the runner up in my heart. But hey, Obituary is still out there rocking with the lineup.
Yeah, yeah, very true. I think
still writing great records, still touring, still sounding unbelievable.
I think
a truly deserved runner-up.
But for the record, I think the runner-up in my heart, if I was really wanted to be annoying, would be Bolt Thrower.
Interesting.
I think that would be my like.
I think that Morbid Angel is 100 times heavier than Bolt Thrower.
That's crazy.
And I love Bolt Thrower.
You love a noodle.
Morbid Angel is breaking the scale of what heavy is.
Apparently not.
And I'll show you.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. But thank you so much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this. Crowbar is the heaviest band of all time.
Yes.
Obituary is the runner-up, a very deserved one.
I love it.
Again, I'm talking in circles now because I'm emotional.
Yeah, I loved it. That was great. And we got more.
Finally have an answer.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. We will see you next week. Bye.